Hello guys, it's Derek Tafuma here of DerekTafuma.com. In this episode, I talk about networking as the new currency. So in today's blog post, this is what I wrote about. I wrote about networking as the new currency. And basically, this is the picture that I chose for my blog post, and these are the other pictures that I've chosen to include within the blog post itself as I talk about the different aspects of networking, the way that I'm actually doing it anyway. So I say that networking is the new currency, and you need to focus on your strength, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And you need to provide value for your networks. You also need to behave like a media company, because that is what you are. You are actually a media company, and you need to have a strategy. What is your media strategy, and how is it that you are a media company? Then I talk about how I actually do this on a daily basis. So like the recording of this video is part of what I do on a daily basis. Then I've got a video of Gary Vaynerchuk explaining how small businesses can use social media. So social media for small businesses, it's a YouTube video, and I think there is another video. He does two videos. I think it's looks like the same video from the looks of it. So I've written a few notes here, which I'm going to refer to as I do this presentation. I use Evernote for writing down my notes. I've actually written all of the blog post was written within Evernote, but I've just summarized here the basic points that I'm going to mention in this video. So I'm just going to make that bigger, just so that it's easier to read for everyone, especially if you're using a small screen like your phone and you're watching this on a mobile device. So we need to think about such things when we are making these videos. Remember that most of the consumption is going to take place on a mobile device, which is quite small, a smartphone. And so if you can make your graphics a little bit bigger, that is going to be in the best interests of everyone. So I talk about networking as the new currency, because I think we are used to currency as being some kind of, or to have some kind of monetary value. But to have that monetary value, first of all, you need to provide the value, and the value is derived from the currency that you set up. And so I'm looking at networking, and what I'm saying is that networking is actually some form of currency, because from it you can derive some monetary value. And reason being that you cannot really do everything on your own. You cannot do everything alone. There's a famous cartoon of a bunch of animals which have been asked to climb a tree, and these animals are different. Some of them cannot climb that tree, and it's a depiction of how we are running our education system, because we are prescribing the same curriculum for everyone, when in fact some people are not really they are not cut out for school. Not that they cannot do anything else, but there are things that they can do much better than what others can do in school. Okay, so what we need to do is to make sure that by networking, okay, we are complementing those skills that we lack. So what we can do is we can focus on our strength, which means we can focus on the skills that we're good at and not at the skills that we are not good at. If we focus on the skills that we are good at, then we can complement those skills that we need from somewhere else. If you look at the history of craftsmanship, you will find that people would focus on the crafts in which they are expert. In fact, you become an expert by the continuous practice, by continuously practicing the same thing on a daily basis. You become skilled at your craft. And when you become skilled at your craft, you provide value to the society, to the people around you. And when you do that, you get some monetary value out of it. So people pay you for your skills. And you've focused on your strength. So you've stuck to your guns and you've focused on your strength. The problem that we have these days is that people are trying to do too much. They are trying to do everything. They are trying to focus on too many things, so that at the end of the day, they are not becoming skilled at any one of those things. And when you do not have those skills, you're not providing value. If you're not providing value, people are not looking for you to do things for them so that they can pay. If you're a plumber, okay, and everybody knows you're a plumber, then you're likely to get plumbing jobs, and get paid for it. But if people don't know exactly what you do, nobody's going to hire you for anything. So we need to focus on our strength. We need to focus on the things that we're really, really good at, so that we provide the value to the network. Remember that networking is the new currency. And so if you're focusing on the one thing, or on the few things that you're good at, then you become valuable to the network. And so people are more likely to hire you. Okay, so the other thing that I thought was important was to talk about the fact that you basically are a media company. So what does that mean? It means that with your ability to write blog posts, or to write articles for your own personal website, you basically become a publisher. You're publishing just like reporters would be publishing for a newspaper or for the website excuse me, of a newspaper. You are actually publishing something. So you've become a publisher. You've become like a media company, because not only can you publish, but if you are doing podcasts, you're basically running a radio station. Okay, depending on how serious you are, you're basically running a radio station. So there you go. You have almost like you're running a printing press with the blogging, and you're running a radio station with the podcasting. But if you're doing videos like this one, then basically you're also running a television station. So you're doing all three things. If you're doing the way that I'm doing it, then you're doing all three. And if you're doing it all three things, then basically you are a media company. So what does a media company do? In fact, forgot to mention that it is through social media platforms or social media networks that you are able to do all three things to make you a media company. So the three things, for example, when it comes to video, of course we've got YouTube, but you also have Snapchat, you also have Instagram, you also have WhatsApp, you also have Facebook. On all of these platforms, you're able to upload videos, short videos. You're able to do that. So basically, your television station is spread out across different platforms. You also have Vimeo. You also have Stitcher for podcasting. You have SoundCloud for podcasting. So you've got all of these platforms. You've got WordPress for blogging. You can also blog on Facebook. Now, some of these platforms, like Facebook, have managed to not only form a social network, but they've managed to turn it into some kind of a search engine. But it's a search engine for of people's personal your personal details on Facebook, and people can search for your name, they can find you there. And so what we need to realize is that some of these companies, what they are trying to do is to enable you to be a media company within the same platform. So you can blog, you can podcast, and you can video blog all at the same time within the same platform. Okay, so there is quite a lot that we can do on all these social platforms. And going back to the network, okay, if you're going to be valuable to your network and you're forming these networks on these social networks, okay, what you then need to do is to focus on posting things that are going to provide value to the network. If they provide value to the network, then you're going to be valuable to your network using social media uh, by behaving like a media company. Okay, so how do I do it at a personal level? But here's what I do. When I get up in the morning, okay, the first thing that I do is I write at least 1,000 words, okay, of a blog post. It can be more, but it cannot be less than 1,000. I try to make it a minimum 1,000 words. Okay, then I use a platform called WordPress. Okay, to publish the blog post. But before I publish it, I use pictures from pixabay.com. I use those pictures to include within my blog post. I also get some videos from YouTube if there is a video which is appropriate for that blog post. If it's a video that I have done or a video that someone else has done, I embed that video into the blog post. As soon as I've done that, I share my blog onto Facebook, onto the Facebook page that I run, also onto LinkedIn, and also onto Twitter. So I upload the video, I share it to those three social networks, and then I think about podcasting. Okay, so I podcast about exactly the same things that I've included in the blog post, and the podcast can be done on anchor.fm, which is my personal radio station. I can do it on there. I can also use SoundCloud. I can upload to SoundCloud and to Stitcher, and to the iTunes podcast, but going through GarageBand or recording through an application called GarageBand, which is both on the iOS and on the Mac OS. Okay, so after the podcasting has been done and shared, I then move on and I do a video like this one. This is the screencast. This is the screencast using ScreenFlow, which is great for recording my screen, because then I can show you the notes, I can show you pictures, I can show you my blog posts on the website. So this is besides the short videos that I do during the day, when I'm using Twitter, when I'm using Facebook, and when I'm using Snapchat and Instagram. Okay, so after I've done this screencast, what I do is to just edit it a little bit. I don't like to do too much editing. It takes a lot of time, so I do a little bit of editing. If needs be, then I post it or upload it to YouTube. So basically, I've done all three things in one day, and and besides YouTube, I also upload it to my Facebook page or to my Facebook group. Okay, so those are the things that I do on a personal note, to complement the networking that I've been talking about. But most importantly, there is engagement that I get from the posts that I would have put, depending on whether it's a blog post or it's the podcast or the video. So I respond. I can respond in another blog or in another podcast or with another video, or I can just respond with text. Now I think there's a lot with another video. I think there's a lot that, in fact, the most important thing I wanted to say in the video is that if you are focusing on your strength, then it means that you're providing value in a field where you have become an expert. And it shows when you're an expert at something, and that is going to win you uh, the kind of the hiring that you probably need in order for you to make some money out of it. Because if you're an expert and people want to give you, they want to give you business. So guys, thank you for listening. It's Derek Tafuma here of DerekTafuma.com. I will see you in tomorrow's video.